Does the Orthodox Church have a position on the conflict in the Holy Land? Are America's Orthodox Christians used as propaganda tools and spies by Russia? What did Metropolitan Hilarion say to the Orthodox Christians in Lithuania? And what have been the changes in the Russian Orthodox African Exarchate? We will talk about all this in today's episode of The Orthodox View. I'm your host, Philip Champion. The world's attention in recent days has been drawn to the tragic events in the Middle East, where bloody clashes between Israelis and Palestinians are unfortunately continuing. People taken as hostages, civilians are dying, large-scale military actions are taking place, and blockades of residential sectors are implemented. All this raises a question among Orthodox Christians. What is the position of the Orthodox Church on this issue? Has it taken any sides? Well, so far, several local Orthodox churches have commented on the conflict. Among them were the Church of Constantinople, the Patriarchate of Jerusalem, the Church of Antioch, the Russian Orthodox Church, the Romanian Patriarchate, and the Church of Greece. His Holiness Patriarch Bartholomew of Constantinople has issued a statement in which he expressed his sorrow for the tragic events that are unfolding in the Holy Land. He added that while many deem violence as a necessary means of dispute resolution, we can never see it as part of God's good creation, nor can we ever approve the use of violence to pursue peace. His Beatitude Patriarch John X, Primate of the Antiochian Orthodox Church, has also spoken out on the war between Israel and Palestine. During his meeting with Metropolitan Elijah of Beirut on the 10th of October, Patriarch John stressed that peace cannot be achieved through violence. Peace cannot come through the corpses of children, innocent victims, and women. Peace comes when the decision-makers of this world realize that our people have dignity, as do all the peoples of the world, said his Beatitude. He added the following: "We're not in favor of war. We reject violence and killing. We seek peace, but in our time we also seek justice and have the right not to give up." According to the Antiochian Primate, peace cannot be achieved through violence, by committing another crime against the unfortunate Palestinian people, who have suffered for many years from a policy of racial discrimination. He called what is happening in Gaza a catastrophe, which should force the UN bodies to intervene in the situation and the world community to realize the problem and find a solution to the conflict. The official statement of the Russian Orthodox Church has been published on the website of the Moscow Patriarchate's Department for External Church Relations. It reads as follows: "The Primate of the Russian Orthodox Church is praying for the quick cessation of the fighting and for the healing of those who have suffered. He calls upon all parties of the conflict to show restraint, preserve human lives, and restore law and order. The Holy Land has exceptional importance for millions of Christians living throughout the globe and for the faithful of other religions. And for this reason, peaceful coexistence there acquires not only a humanitarian but also a religious dimension. The Russian Orthodox Church unceasingly calls for a just peace and mutual understanding between peoples." The Holy Synod of the Hierarchy of the Church of Greece, which met in Athens during its regular session, made an announcement about the hostilities taking place in the Middle East. The Greek bishops stated that they absolutely condemn any terrorist act against fellow human beings, of any race and religion, wherever they come from. The hierarchs also stressed that they stand with brotherly love by the side of Patriarch Theophilus III of Jerusalem and the Brotherhood of the Holy Sepulchre, who serve with sacrificial love and peace in the Holy Land. They strive for a peaceful settlement in this troubled region where all religions and races meet. The Romanian Patriarchate expresses its deep concern over the continuation of the war in Israel. They stated that war always represents a social catastrophe with incalculable consequences in terms of human suffering and the loss of life of entirely innocent people. A humanitarian catastrophe. That is why, they add, especially in the tragic context that another war-ravaged country, Ukraine, is now going through, the highest priority is to find diplomatic solutions to stop the escalation of violence and crimes initiated by today's terrorist attack. The Romanian Patriarchate also expressed its complete solidarity with the State of Israel. Finally, let us turn to currently the most important voice of all, the voice of Christians in the Holy Land. Patriarchs and heads of the churches in Jerusalem have issued an official statement calling for peace and justice amidst unfolding violence. We shall put a link to that statement in the description below. The primates stressed that they stand in solidarity with the people of the region, who are enduring the devastating consequences of continued strife. Our faith, they said, which is founded on the teachings of Jesus Christ, compels us to advocate for the cessation of all violent and military activities that bring harm to both Palestinian and Israeli civilians. The Christian leaders also condemned any acts that target civilians, regardless of their nationality, ethnicity, or faith, and called all parties involved to immediately cease violence and engage in sincere dialogue, seeking lasting solutions that promote justice, peace, and reconciliation for the people of the Holy Land, who have endured the burdens of conflict for far too long. Let us all listen to the voice of the Orthodox hierarchs quoted today and continue to pray for peace in the Holy Land and in the whole world. The Assembly of Canonical Orthodox Bishops of the United States of America issued a statement last week denouncing the irresponsible journalism that was recently featured by Foreign Affairs magazine, reports the Orthodox news website OrthoChristian. Last month, the official outlet of the U.S. Council on Foreign Relations published an article entitled Putin's Useful Priests, the Russian Orthodox Church and the Kremlin's Hidden Influence Campaign in the West, by Andrei Soldatov and Irina Borogan, which attempted to paint Orthodox parishes in the US as spies and tools of the Kremlin propaganda. The article was later condemned by His Grace Bishop Irenei of London and Western Europe, of the Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia. But now, the Assembly of Canonical Orthodox Bishops of the United States of America denounced the article as inaccurate, full of vituperative and essentializing language that can easily incite targeting and violence against America's Orthodox Christians as a community, which, as the statement notes, already happened when a fake bomb threat was reported at Holy Trinity Monastery in Jordanville. The bishops also stated that the clear message conveyed by the article is that Orthodox Christian parishes and monasteries in the United States are hotbeds of support for the current government and policies of the Russian Federation, a message with no empirical data to support this claim. The bishops noted the presence of diversity of viewpoints in their communities, a diversity that mirrors the United States as a whole, and added that the reductionist characterization of Orthodox Christians in America as potential fifth columns is reminiscent of the worst episodes of nativism in the United States of America. They've also re-emphasized their opposition to the war in Ukraine. We shall put a link to the statement in the description below. Thousands of Orthodox believers from all over Lithuania gathered in Vilnius on Saturday, the 7th of October, to take part in the divine service and procession on the occasion of the arrival of the wonder-working Sturgis icon of the Mother of God. One of the main relics of Orthodox Lithuania arrived in Vilnius for the second time in 20 years. The tradition of bringing it to the capital was revived last year by Metropolitan Innocent. On Saturday morning, the revered image of the Mother of God, delivered from Kaunas, was solemnly welcomed at the Holy Spirit Monastery in Vilnius and brought into the monastery church where the Divine Liturgy began. The service was led by Metropolitan Hilarion of Budapest and Hungary, who arrived in Vilnius at the invitation of Metropolitan Innocent of Vilnius and Lithuania to take part in the celebrations. After the liturgy, the wonder-working icon was carried in a procession from the Holy Spirit Monastery to the Prechistinsky Cathedral. On the way there, the procession made a stop in the center of Vilnius, near the ancient Pyatnitsa church. It is in that church, with the blessing of Metropolitan Innocent, that the Ukrainian Orthodox community prays, ministered to by a canonical priest from Ukraine. At the Piatnitsa church, Metropolitan Innocent and his vicar bishop Ambrose offered special prayers for an end to the war in Ukraine. After the prayer service, Metropolitan Hilarion, who had begun his pastoral work in Lithuania many years ago, addressed the flock with an archpastoral sermon. He said that his monastic tonsure and ordination as a higher deacon took place in 1987 at the Holy Spirit Monastery, and the ordination as a higher monk at the Prechistinsky Cathedral in Lithuania. Commenting on the prayers for peace in Ukraine, Vladika Hilarion said the following: "We address the Most Holy Mother of God with a fervent prayer, that she will ask her Son and our God for peace in the whole world, so that the internecine strife would cease, and the suffering of the Ukrainian people and the persecuted Ukrainian Orthodox Church would end. And today, walking in a procession, we made a stop near the Piatnitsa church to offer prayers for peace in Ukraine, and we believe that the Lord will hear our prayers." In the end of his sermon, Vladika Hilarion called on all to maintain unity and fidelity to the Church. Metropolitan Leonid of Klin, who was the head of the Russian Orthodox Church's African Exarchate from the time it was established in December 2021, was released from this position 2 days ago by the Russian Holy Synod. His Grace, Bishop Konstantin of Zaraysk, was appointed as acting Patriarchal Exarch of Africa. Meanwhile, the Exarchate continues to grow. In particular, its mission is developing in Madagascar. A new parish has been formed in the village of Anjaranhinali, Toliara region, in the south of the country. On October 8th, the 18th Sunday after Pentecost and the commemoration day of Saint Sergius of Radonezh, Reverend Ezekiel Bota Alfonsi, Reverend Christian Andrianirina, and Reverend Calviti Edwin celebrated the Divine Liturgy at the new parish. Praying at the Divine Service were 82 members of the new community. That same day, Reverend Joachim Tsemakoa celebrated the Divine Liturgy at the village of Ambodramami, located in the north of the country. Meanwhile, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on the Orthodox View.